So Season 3 is upcoming, and while we learned about what Season 3 has to offer, one thing that we didn't quite really get to expand upon while running down the reveal a few days ago was the weaponry that we'll be seeing added into our arsenal in Modern Warfare 2 with Season 3. It's kind of a strange scenario this season, but in this one we're breaking it all down for you in regards to the weapons we know of, as well as what's hinted at for the near future. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it as well. Consider subscribing to stay to date with all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and all things Season 3 here as we gear up to the launch coming later this upcoming week. And finally, check out my friends over at G Fuel for 30% off certain items like tubs of hype sauce and starfruit, two of my personal favorites here in the month of April. But that said, let's jump into it. So firstly, let's jump into the weaponry we can expect to see in the Battle Pass. As always, we have two weapons in the Battle Pass, given for free here across the board, just simply accessible via playtime and unlocks progressively throughout the season. Nothing really new, but we see the weapons of the FJX Imperium and Cronen Squall. Starting with the FJX Imperium, the icon is reimagined here. What was the intervention is now going to be returning as the FJX Imperium. In the blog post, there's not really a whole ton that's detailed about this, but it does state engineered destruction at its finest. This anti-personnel bolt-action sniper rifle intervenes in tense situations with hard-hitting 408 rounds. Not gonna lie, I like the slight pun put in there of the intervening, but we do know a bit more from the previews from Call of Duty Socials and FaZe Dirty's gameplay that it's going to be its own standalone platform of the FJX Imperium. It's going to have all the bells and whistles attachment-wise, including a new category of carry handle. It's going to have 27 weapon levels, and with that, new camos to come along. With all that, with some even seemingly resembling Spectrum and other takes on Tiger camos. So curious to see how that all works out. But the biggest thing perhaps, which is entirely inconsequential to the gameplay, is that it does not sound like the classic from Modern Warfare 2. As we discussed, that's simply due to the audio engine's evolution over the years and a push for realism in that sense, but I still would love to see maybe when you max out the weapon, you have the ability to have a sound conversion in the settings or something. Don't sell me that, please. I don't want to have to buy that, but just like the hit markers, it'd be cool if you could end up changing that in the game sounds on the side of the player and their settings. I think that'd be a really cool thing here to please some of the classic nostalgia. Then we have the Cronen Squall. This is a battle rifle, which again has minimal details about it. Admittedly, the blog and reveals of the weapons for this season were pretty underwhelming in regards to the details and useful information, but it is stated that it's a bullpup semi-automatic rifle chambered in 6.8 RAF and designed for distance shooting and exceptional damage output. Now, the Wraith ammunition was strangely seen on the FJX Imperium's Creator class at first, but it seems like that may have just been a mix-up with the semi-auto battle rifle. Curious to see how this all plays out, given that we have the FTAC Recon. We just got the Tempest Torrent. Yes, I know that's a marksman rifle, but with so many semi-autos, I'm curious to see how it will fit and if it creates any sort of overlapping feel in the effectiveness of each individual weapon, or if each of those ends up having their own personal unique feel that they don't feel like the same weapon. But both of these will be available in the Battle Pass, and unlike prior games where it was a simple linear path to progression at tiers 15 and 31, the battle map system now allows you for a sort of choose your own adventure type of unlock path where you can get the FGX first if you want, or you can get the Cronen Squall first and go directly to the other, which I believe is a bit faster than the comparable tier 31 of years past, but I'd have to double check on that one. But in terms of timing, it's all subjective on when you end up earning it, though most of the time if you get the Battle Pass bundle, now the Black Cell bundle, you'll be able to get one of those immediately with those 20 tier skips that come along with it. However, be aware that you'll have the option now with Season 3 for the Battle Pass to auto chart a path to completion for you if you don't want to go in and manually do it yourself. Right now, that doesn't necessarily have any more clarity on how that system will work, but while you can go for one weapon more so than the other depending on what path you choose, just make sure that if you want one more than the other, it isn't something that it ends up completing it for you on the game's end, charting a path here for that from the game itself as a predetermined path. Strangely though, beyond that, there's no mention of anything further at the season launch. No melees, no event unlock like the Path of the Ronin Part 1 crossbow reward, nothing like that. But in season gets kind of interesting because we do have listed in the blog post additional armaments in season, stating to expect 2 new sidearms within Season 3 Reloaded, both fully automatic with drastically different roles, a highly customizable machine pistol with a fast rate of fire, and a high caliber pistol modified for full auto to blast enemies back when they end up getting too close for comfort. Now, while the roadmap lends a preview of what one of those looks like, it's interesting that we'll have 2 pistols coming. The first, however, described as highly customizable machine pistol with a fast fire rate, that's linked to the roadmap here in the silhouette that we see, that likely being the Tech 9. The only other time we've seen that in COD was in Cold War, where it was categorized as a submachine gun, so if it packs the same kind of punch here, I'm curious to see how that will shake up in terms of the meta pistol use for that classification, because if you end up having something that could theoretically be rivaling an SMG, but it doesn't take an overkill of any kind, That'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. The final noted weapon is one that doesn't have any additional clues beyond what it says for high caliber pistol modified for full auto to blast enemies, which it could be a previously leaked Staccato 2011, a more modernized modular 1911 by comparison, but we just don't have anything definitive or concrete to point one way or the other just yet. It was something that was found in the game file, so it is very possible, but again, until we see a little bit more, just err on the side of caution. However, the question that I have here with 4 weapons is, will we see any more than just these 2 primaries and 2 secondaries? Interestingly, there was in the trailer for a hair of a second, like just a few frames, the PKM did appear. So will that be coming? I'm not personally getting my hopes up just in case it doesn't, but it is weird to see that in some of the official marketing for Season 3. Either way, it's an interesting seasonal offering for sure. A sniper, battle rifle, and 2 pistols. But again, is that all we'll see? The question is definitely valid because notably it's tied for the least amount of weapons we've seen to date in Modern Warfare 2 and might be around there in recent years in that Warzone 1 era of offering, but Season 2 we had 5 weapons, the ISO, KV Broadside, Crossbow, Kodachis, and the Tempest Torrent, and Season 1 as well only had 4, the M13B, Chimera, BAS-P, and Victus XMR. But with the recent introductions of melees and other seasonal event models of the unlocks with Season 2, it does seem odd to go kind of backwards, especially that we had a handful of just even melees that have still been leaked that have yet to be introduced into the game. So along with a dozen other primary weapons, are the options off the table just yet? I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but it's definitely curious. Now, beyond that, another thing we like to usually talk about when we discuss future weapons is, will you be able to use any of these with existing platforms? That was one of the big questions going into Season 1. Provided some clarity, but it might have been a fluke. Season 2 kind of solidified it, but based off of Season 1 and 2, no. Even if we do have a weapon in the same platform family, it doesn't seem like you'll be able to unlock that by simply ranking up your other weapons. You may be, however, able to use some weapon attachments from shared platforms if they are existing, like the Tempest Torrent shared attachments with the M4 platform, so you had a ton of different things immediately available if you unlocked all of those. Now, beyond that, the final thing we'll talk about is weapon camos, and of course, how they again count towards Orion. With this, that is 4 additional weapons that you can end up adding. Again, it's like 51 or 52 weapons to complete Orion. So if you don't want to use your launchers, you don't want to use your melees or something like that, you now have 4 additional weapons coming in season that will be able to sacrifice some of the other weapons that you don't have to do in that regard. We've had quite a few already adding through that. Again, 9 from Season 1 and Season 2, but now with 4 additional ones, you got a lot to work with if you really want to just pick and choose what you want to do for Orion. So you definitely have options upcoming. Season 3 looking to expand on that. Season 4 and 5 making it even easier if you have not completed Orion just yet, but just know the option is there. But that is the Season 3 weapons from Modern Warfare 2 and by extension Warzone 2.0 that you can look forward to. But before we wrap everything up, a reminder, check out my friends over at G Fuel for 20% off all items with code Espresso and 30% off certain items like Starfruit and Hype Sauce tubs for the month of April. Honestly, those two, Hype Sauce and Starfruit, they're in my regular rotation. A cup of G Fuel is like my cup of coffee in the morning, and for me, those are like 2 of my main 3. The other one I normally drink is the Morbius Nectarine flavor, but there's some great choices and again, some great deals, 30% off. If you'd like to check them out, link in the description below and use code Espresso if you'd like to pick something up. But that said, that's what we're gonna call it. So let me know your thoughts down below. Do you guys like the sound of these Season 3 weapons? Are you looking forward to anything in particular? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and anything COD related. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name's been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.